All right, guys, it's the Fields Bros. Welcome back to the channel.
Glad to be back.
It's been a long hiatus.
Long ass time.
The NBA is back after the shutdown due to coronavirus. We're going to be playing in a bubble, ESPN bubble down in Orlando, Florida.
This is a very unique playoff run because there's no home court advantage. So seeding is more about matchups. Seeding is much more different this time in terms of the effects of it.
Right, and this video is going to be specifically focused on the Western Conference. There's a lot of action going on down there.
Yeah.
Westbrook tested positive for coronavirus.
He's cleared finally.
But his first practice will be Wednesday. He's going to be back and good to go. That was a little concern for people.
D'Antoni, I should know, said that Westbrook showed up in better shape than everybody pretty much who's been working out because Westbrook's a freak athlete.
Right. So let's start with Houston. What are your expectations?
Championship.
After this, I will note this. This is a completely new season. Like, this is a season.
Right.
You've had 4 months off. That's damn near an off season.
Yeah.
So you have young guys coming in like a
If anything, this is like next year's version of the Rockets in terms of the chemistry level between Russ and Harden. Russ and Harden are already, like, last year I talked a lot about Russ and Paul George as a duo. This year, this duo is much more significant. It's got more points, more rebounds, more assists combined, more steals combined, I think. And Russ and Harden are the first duo of all time to average 62 a game. That's more than LeBron and Wade. That's more than Steph and KD. That's
Pippen
more
and
than
Jordan
and Pippen. So these boys got to get the chip. They're MVPs. They're scoring champions. They're assist champions. Everything that they've done everything but get the chip. And now in this tournament, we're going to be on some weird freaking court. Eric Gordon, I'm calling you out, bro. Like, you're going to be wide open. You missed 30 games this season. Despite that, we still have a 40-24 record. We're 16
I will note
games.
that Eric Gordon's shooting 37% from the floor and only getting 14 a night. Missed
Right.
30 games.
But that's because he's out of rhythm. This dude in playoffs, he's like, he turns it around in playoffs.
Right.
He's he'll just start driving and getting crazy layups. He's a high percentage free throw shooter. And plus, now that Russ is on the team, he's going to be wide open because Harden commands attention. Russ leads the league in points in the paint somehow. PJ Tucker leads the league in corner three percentages again. So they have a lot of unique aspects about their team. And we've seen small ball work before. We saw the Warriors, they had their small ball thing with Andre Iguodala at center. They proved you can win without a traditional big. They had David West come in and give them 10 points, and that was their big. All right? That's all they did. They had 2 MVPs on the court. So if a KD team can do it, you trade for KD, you win a title. You sign him, you win a title. You trade for Russ.
I will note this. To me, what was special with Steph and KD was you had a player in Steph who had a player on the team in KD who's arguably better.
As good or better.
As good or better than you. LeBron, AD. LeBron's 35. AD is entering his prime as we speak. So right now, AD has a player as good or better than him and LeBron. James Harden now has Westbrook, a player as good, if not better than you.
I look at it like that, but I feel like
but that's what you need.
For example,
you need to
Westbrook is better than Paul George.
I know, but that's what you need. But he's not as good as better as Westbrook. That's the problem with
Russ
that duo.
finally has a guy like...
You need a player as good or better than you.
Russ is the scariest second option of all time.
Right. And I thought Klay Thompson with Warriors was the scariest third. He's like Larry Bird.
Yeah.
You got Larry Bird as your third option.
In playoff games.
Right.
You know what I mean? And in big moments, for sure.
Right. So Houston Rockets, I
understand the flaws that, like you brought up flaws with Houston's roster. They don't have centers and whatnot.
I will say that Houston playing in a bubble with no fans, it's going to be more of an open gym, an AAU environment.
They're geared for it.
And they're geared to make shots and just run teams. But also a lot of these young guys are. I look at the Pelicans, for example, who are young legs.
They're going to be
and they should be able to fly up and down. But I do know experience in rec leagues. Older teams who know what they're doing and execute in the half court can fuck up a young team that wants to run, who's undisciplined, wants to take 40-footers. Like, at some point, playoff basketball and the veterans, it's going to be something.
Lonzo Ball kind of thinks like a veteran player.
Right.
In terms of he's a natural passer. college, he was a 10 assist a game guy, which is the first ever, I want to say.
What are your expectations for the 8th seed in the Western Conference? Do you think the Grizzlies hang on to it with their 3.5 game lead?
My instinct says they don't. Well, 3.5 games in 8 games is a lot, actually, because it's only a half game per to make up, right? So they'd have, if they lost 4 and Portland, say, won 4, that would close the gap. So really, Memphis, if they split 4-4, they should get into the playoffs, honestly. So they're a team who I don't really trust most of their roster. I like John Morant, but I feel like they might have just enough of a cushion to hold on. But I feel like the teams below them are better teams. Like the Blazers have, I'm pretty sure Lillard's missed a bunch of games.
Yeah, but the Blazers come playoff time with a lot of people are picking Portland because of their experience.
Right. I feel like they're a team that could go 6-2, but is that good enough to get in? Because you got to make up these games.
Right.
So you got to.
You almost have to only.
They have to
you're
hope
allowed
Memphis
one game.
just struggles. Memphis goes 0-8, they would love that. And I feel like who knows? This will tell us a lot about. John Morant's the leader of this team. Can you keep your team above float? You guys got to go 4-4 in your end, basically.
Yeah.
But you have to go out there and do it. Like they can't go out there and lose these games. You got to at least win like 2-6 might even get you in.
Right.
But you can't go.
And then you have teams like
but
New
pressure's
Orleans,
on them because they're going to be attacked. Usually, young teams are the attacking teams. Now, vets are attacking them.
which is why I look over in New Orleans. I see a team with Zion, Lonzo Ball. I love that duo.
I feel like that team's much better.
I love that duo. By the way, I feel like
Steve Nash, Kamara.
I feel like if you break up that duo, you're a dumbass. Like you have to let Zion and Lonzo.
They just built that team.
I know, but you have to let these guys grow together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The media hates people. The media hates Lonzo. The media hates Westbrook. Like the media tries to split up duos that they're scared of, and I feel like this Lonzo Zion duo will bear a lot of fruits if you let this tree grow.
Let's talk about the Clippers.
The Clippers,
They're a wild card. Well, I like them, but once again, Paul George. What Paul George are you gonna get? Are you gonna get the Paul George that like he mustered up last year, 28 a game? Paul George, that he's done once, and he gets treated like he does all the time. But this year he's averaging barely 20 points a game because he's missed a lot of games in time. So right now they're matched up with Dallas, and I feel like Dallas they're knocking out somebody. I thought all year long.
To me, when I look at the Clippers, not only do I obviously note the Kawhi Paul George duo, but outside of that duo, I really like their team. I like their roster. They picked up Reggie Jackson to strengthen their bench. So, I feel like that the Clippers have a lot of guys who know how to make plays and have been in bigger roles on other teams. Sure. So, I've made this point to you before. If you're a guy who's used to performing at a big role on another team and accept a lower role, that's better than a dude who's a shit player and you're asking him, I need this out of you. I need this out of you.
Overall, they're very good, even without Paul George.
I know, but basically what I'm saying, if you have a Kent Bazemore and you're like, I need this out of you, you're not going to get it. But if you go to Melo and say, I need you to take a lesser role, I need 14 to 15 out of you, he can give that because he's been a star player. You know what I mean? If you ask a shitty dude to overperform, you're not going to get that. And I look at the Clippers and they have a bunch of good vets who've been in big roles. And now they're in a little bit of a lesser role. And I feel like that will work. Right. So when I do look at a matchup versus a younger team like a younger team like Dallas, a Clipper-Dallas matchup, I would pick the Clippers due to their veteran strength.
So we can agree that we started with the Rockets. So their only weakness or flaw is their size, I guess you'd talk about with them. For the Clippers, their biggest weakness is maybe their lack of a true point guard. Would be like something. Cause no one's perfect, except the Warriors were perfect. But so then the Lakers, I'd say their biggest thing is maybe I don't know. They're all vets.
I've never trusted their perimeter. I'm a Laker fan. I've never trusted their perimeter. I don't like
wing players.
They're the Avery Bradley, the point guards and shooting guards. I understand LeBron's a point guard. Right. He plays point guard. Excuse me. But in terms of the other guys on that team, I don't like the perimeter around signed. Yeah, I don't like the Carusos, the Rondos. I don't like the Deion Waiters. I don't like the J.R. Smiths.
So you got some.
I don't like the Avery Bradleys. I don't like any of their perimeter players. I don't like that they traded Lonzo and kept Kuzma.
So every team has things but you're willing for the veteran starters and defense.
LeBron's finally in a situation where he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? He has a bunch of veterans around him. So he knows what they're going to bring. He doesn't have to be the overwhelming presence. He can let this coach actually coach.
I think a guy like Danny Green is a huge pickup, especially if you've covered NBA for years. You'd know this dude's always in deep playoff runs.
He's the only guy I like on that team. Outside LeBron,
he's going to start for you guys in this league. I guarantee you, Danny Green starts.
Oh, Danny Green's a baller. He's a two-way player. I love him. He's their best perimeter player outside LeBron.
And he's big shot. Student, in the finals one year, he hit everything.
Right.
He's always been there. So yeah, another we talked about Dallas a little bit. About Melo in Portland.
Melo in Portland.
Can they go 7-1?
We got skinny Melo. We got Phoenix in the bubble. We got teams like Utah and Denver trying to.
Denver. I'm glad you brought up Denver because I think they're going to struggle in this bubble big time. Like we said, there's no home court. So for me, I would hope the Rockets match up with them. We can run them into the ground. There's no altitude advantage that they historically are always excellent at home. No matter what weird roster they have, they're always high octane offense. They're always a pace. They're an organization that just scores points.
Right.
And they're excellent in Denver. So now that they're in the opposite of that,
they don't have that home court.
No
fans,
no altitude. It's I feel like they're gonna be. I want to play them for whatever reason. My instinct says I want that team. Who else can we talk about? We talked about.
Basically, I think it's a three-way race: Lakers, Clippers, Rockets in the West.
And there's a dark horse team. There's always a dark horse team.
That's up for debate on who that is, but I think that the three heavyweights are those teams.
Sure. But the reason why I say Dallas is dark horse teams because they have like all other teams. I consider their duo. They have a true duo, and it's very unique. There's nothing else like it. Like the Rockets have their guard duo, LeBron and AD are their classic big pick and pop duo. The Clippers have their defensive wing duo, and then you have this Dallas team that has a 7'3" kid, some tall kid that's skilled.
Porzingas, yeah.
I know his name, but I'm just saying they have this tall ass dude that all these teams have or wish they had, and you got Luka, who's 29 a game player, all around stats. So if they matched up with the Clippers, if Paul George isn't ready to go, and he's 10 a game on missing all these shots or is out, I feel like that could be an upset that because that would really solidify how good Luka and Porzingas.
You've always said Dallas is knocking someone.
And that would be I can't think of a better first round series than Dallas and LA Clippers. I want to see Luka versus Kawhi, and if Paul George is not there, it'll be a great test to see.
It'll be so weird watching.
Are you gonna let this kid knock you out?
It'll be so weird watching these games with no fans.
Right.
It'll just be a weird experience for us all. But the video has to wrap up. So
I feel like we gotta wrap it up. So
this is our NBA Western Conference. Just preview. The NBA's back. Everyone's hype about it.
We talked about a lot of the teams, a lot of the things, their strengths and weaknesses, because no team is perfect.
Yep, and we're all going to be watching the bubble.